You left, maybe years ago. You changed your phone number, you blocked them, you moved. You built an entirely different life. So explain this. Why does your stomach still tighten when someone's tone changes? Why do you rehearse conversations that will never happen? Why do you still feel guilty resting? Why do you instinctively explain yourself before anyone has accused you of anything? Why does one unanswered text make your body prepare for abandonment? Let me tell you something. It's not easy to say. The relationship ended. Your participation in it did not. Not because you want it back, not because you secretly miss the person, but because your body is still responding to the conditions it spent so long trying to survive. Until those conditions are no longer driving your nervous system, you will keep preparing for a danger that is not happening anymore. If you found yourself asking, "What's wrong with me? Why can't I move on? Why can't I just forget about it? Why am I still reacting when I know I'm safe?" Hear me now before we go any further. There is nothing wrong with you. Your body is not confused. It's being consistent. It is responding exactly the way it was shaped to respond by repeated experience. The problem isn't that your body learned to survive. The problem is that no one ever taught it how to recognize when survival is no longer necessary. Most of us assume that leaving a relationship should automatically feel like freedom. We expect the day we walk away to be the day our body exhales. We think distance should erase fear. We think time should erase vigilance. Then months pass, sometimes years, and we find ourselves reacting to people who have never harmed us. We apologize before we've done anything wrong. We explain simple decisions that require no explanation. We tense up when someone goes quiet. We feel guilty for resting. We wonder why our body keeps acting like the relationship is still happening. The mistake is believing that leaving changes everything. It changes your circumstances. It does not instantly change your conditioning. I recall realizing this after one of the most ordinary moments imaginable. I caught myself explaining a simple decision that affected no one but me. No one had challenged me, no one had questioned me, yet I could feel myself building a case, gathering evidence, preparing to defend something that did not need defending. I stopped in the middle of the sentence and thought, who am I protecting myself from? The answer was no one in front of me. My body was responding to someone who was no longer there. That moment changed how I understood healing. I had left the relationship. That volatile, reactive man was no longer in my life. I was safe. But my body was still expecting the consequences that used to follow something simple, like having an opinion. The danger had ended. The anticipation of danger had not. This is why healing is often misunderstood. We treat it as though it's about forgetting the past, getting over the past. It isn't. It's about helping the body recognize that the past is no longer the present. Your body is not carrying every memory you've ever lived. It's carrying the conclusions those experiences created. It learned what happened when you disagreed. It learned what happened when you expressed a need. It learned what happened when you told the truth. Over time, those experiences stopped feeling like isolated moments and became expectations. If speaking honestly was met with anger, your body learned to hesitate before telling the truth. If having needs led to criticism, your body learned to stay quiet. If someone else's mood determined whether the day would be peaceful or chaotic, your nervous system became exceptionally good at reading faces, voices, and subtle shifts in energy before allowing itself to relax. None of that happened because you were damaged or weak. It happened because your body was paying attention. That's what survival does. It studies patterns. It remembers what keeps you safe. It repeats whatever worked often enough to keep you alive. The difficulty is that your body doesn't automatically know when the rules have changed. It continues living by yesterday's conclusions until today's experiences become trustworthy enough to replace them. That's why you can understand with your mind that your life is different while your body continues preparing for the life you no longer live. Your nervous system is always trying to answer one question: what is most likely to happen next? It answers that question by looking behind you, not in front of you. If the last time you spoke honestly, you were punished, your body prepares for punishment before you have even finished the sentence. If the last time you set a boundary, someone withdrew their love, your body braces for abandonment before the word no ever leaves your mouth. If the last time you relaxed, something painful happened, staying alert begins to feel safer than resting. This is what hypervigilance really is. It is not your body overreacting. It is your body trying to prevent another injury. It keeps asking, what happened last time? And then prepares for that outcome before the present has even had a chance to reveal itself. That's why you can know you are safe while your body still feels unsafe. Knowledge changes the mind. Repeated experience changes the body. Eventually, something even more painful begins to happen. The relationship no longer needs to exist outside of you because it has quietly taken up residence inside you. The criticism becomes your inner voice. The doubt becomes your inner voice. The second guessing becomes, you guessed it, your inner voice. Before anyone else has the opportunity to question you, you've already questioned yourself. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking, I'm probably overreacting. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I should explain myself better. Maybe I wasn't clear that first time or that 10th time. I don't want to be difficult. Maybe it is my fault. Those thoughts can feel so familiar that they seem like your own, but sometimes they are not your voice at all. They are the echoes of a relationship that taught you to distrust yourself. You know, one of the saddest consequences of living this way is that you slowly stop trusting yourself. Before making a decision, you imagine what someone else would think. Before speaking, you imagine how someone else might react or receive the message. Before asking what you need, you ask what everyone else needs first. Without realizing it, you leave yourself out of your own life. This is also where I think healing extends beyond psychology. There is an energetic reality to where we place our attention. Wherever your attention repeatedly goes, your life begins flowing in that very direction. If your mind spends every day replaying old conversations, defending yourself to someone who isn't even there, hoping they'll finally understand, or wondering whether they regret what they did, part of your life remains invested in a relationship that has already ended. That does not mean you're still attached because you love them. Sometimes we are attached because we're still trying to solve what was never ours to solve. Of course, we want the apology that never came. We want the truth they never told. We want them to finally see what they refuse to see. We keep returning because some part of us believes that if we think about it long enough, we will eventually find the ending we deserved. But healing doesn't ask you to find a different ending to the past. It asks you to stop living there. I don't mean pretending it didn't matter. It mattered. It changed you. Grief deserves honesty, not denial. But there comes a point when continuing to mentally negotiate with someone who is no longer present keeps your awareness anchored to a life that no longer exists. One of the greatest losses after a chronically unsafe relationship isn't simply that you stop feeling safe, it's that you lose your relationship with yourself. You become remarkably skilled at reading everyone else's emotions while becoming disconnected from your own. You know exactly when someone else is uncomfortable, disappointed, or angry, yet you struggle to answer a much simpler question: what am I feeling right now? That is where intuition begins to disappear. Not because it's left you, but because your attention has been occupied somewhere else for so long. Intuition does not compete for your attention. It waits for it. It waits until you become quiet enough to hear your own body instead of constantly listening for everyone else's reactions. I don't believe that deep healing is learning to stop thinking about the past. I believe it's learning to come back into relationship with yourself, to notice your own body before you notice everyone else's, to trust your own experience before asking someone else to confirm it, to become more interested in what is true than in what keeps everyone else comfortable. That is the beginning of freedom. Not when the memories disappear, but when they stop deciding how you live today. So, what does healing actually look like? It doesn't begin by forcing yourself to stop thinking about the past. It doesn't begin by pretending you're over it, convincing yourself you've forgiven, or trying to become the strongest person in the room. Healing begins much quieter and much more simplistically. Yeah. It begins the moment you notice your body preparing for something that is not actually happening. And instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" you begin asking something else. What does my body believe is about to happen? So I'd like to invite you to try something with me. Take a slow, comfortable breath. You don't need to breathe any differently than you normally would. Just notice the breath that's already there. Now, slowly look around the room you are in. Really look. Notice the light. Notice the walls. Notice the floor beneath you. Notice the chair supporting your body. Let your eyes take in the ordinary details of this very moment. Your nervous system is constantly gathering information from your environment. Let it notice where you actually are. Now gently ask yourself, is the danger happening right now? Not yesterday, not last year, right now. As you sit here listening to my voice, is the danger actually happening? Perhaps your jaw feels tight. Maybe your shoulders are carrying tension. Maybe your stomach feels heavy or your chest feels guarded. You don't have to make any of that disappear. Simply notice it and just be present with it. Your body has been carrying this for a reason. Now ask yourself one more question. What am I preparing for? Please don't rush to answer it with your mind. Let your body answer first. Maybe it's preparing to be criticized. Maybe it's preparing to be misunderstood. Maybe it's preparing to defend itself. Maybe it's preparing to be abandoned. Whatever comes up, simply notice it without trying to change it. If it feels comfortable, place one hand over your heart, not to calm yourself down, not to fix anything, just to let your body know that someone is finally paying attention to what it has been carrying. Then quietly say to yourself, "Thank you. Thank you for trying to protect me. You learned this for a reason, but you don't have to carry yesterday into this moment." And take another slow breath and bring your attention into your feet. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the support that's already here. Let your awareness move out of your thoughts and back into your body. You don't have to become perfectly relaxed. You don't have to force yourself to feel peaceful. You only have to become present. This is what I mean when I talk about calling yourself back. You are not pulling yourself away from another person. You are returning to yourself. Every time you notice your attention drifting back into old conversations, old fears, or old roles, you have another opportunity to come home. Not through force, not through shame, through awareness. Healing is not measured by how little you remember of the past. It's measured by how fully you are able to remain with yourself when those memories arise. One day you'll notice that you spoke honestly without apologizing. You will rest without feeling guilty. You will make a decision without wondering how someone else would judge it. You will realize your body did not brace when the phone rang or the doorbell rang. Those moments may seem ordinary, but they're actually profound because they tell you something has changed. Your nervous system is beginning to trust the life you are living now instead of the life it survived before. Leaving that relationship may have been one of the hardest things you've ever done, but healing is different work. Healing is helping your body discover one experience at a time that it no longer has to organize itself around survival. It gets to organize itself around truth, around presence, around peace, around the life that's waiting for you now. If this conversation helped you understand something you've been carrying, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is one way you've noticed your body still preparing for a life you no longer live? And if you are ready to move beyond understanding this intellectually and begin experiencing it for yourself, I've linked my website below. My work integrates intuitive coaching, energy healing, shamanic practices, shadow integration, and embodied awareness, because healing isn't simply changing the way you think. It's helping every part of you recognize what is finally true. The relationship ended. You are safe. Now, let your life begin. Until next time, namaste. I come back into my body.